The National Industrial Court of Nigeria, sitting in Abuja on Friday, struck out a suit filed by a group of retirees from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, challenging alleged discrimination in the implementation of pension policy by the federal government. In her judgment, Justice Osatohanmwen Obaseki-Osaghae ruled that the pensioners failed to establish that the federal government shortchanged them in the payment of their pension emoluments. The court also held that the retirees did not sufficiently counter claims by the federal government that pensions had been increased 3 times during the period the plaintiffs alleged lopsidedness in the payment of old and new contributory system. Speaking after the ruling, counsel to the plaintiffs, Godwin Emagun, said after obtaining the certified true copies of the judgment, they will file an appeal. Emagun, who shared stories of his struggle, called on Nigerian civil servants to rally around the retirees if they don't want a repeat of such when they bow out of civil service.
This is something we have to apply for the certified true copy of the judgment and then study it and then take the next line of action, which is we are going to appeal this judgment. We are not satisfied with the judgment. And I believe every civil servant in this country will not be happy to hear this kind of decision coming out. Because tomorrow, when they retire, they are going to fall in the same situation where we find ourselves. I'm a lawyer. I worked in the civil service. I retired. If you know what my pension allowance is, you pity me. If I have not been practicing as a lawyer after retirement, I think by now I will either be dead or I'll be relying on my siblings and children. So we are going to study the judgment of this court and then take the next line of action, which is we are going to appeal this judgment.
The legal practitioner further said the Pension Act of 2014 cannot overshadow the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He argued that contrary to the presiding judge's claim that the plaintiffs did not prove that their retirement benefit was not upwardly reviewed, none of the retirees has reported any increase in their pension. He further lamented that none of the pensioners present in court with him can boast of a monthly pension allowance that can procure fuel that can fill the tanks of their vehicles ever since the removal of fuel subsidy.
The Pension Act of 2014 cannot supersede the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, does not exceed it. Where she said we did not prove that we were not given any increase in our retirement benefits, I find that difficult to believe, because everybody standing behind me will tell you that since this has happened, since this law has been repealed, the 2004 law was repealed and the new 2014 Act, none of us have received an increase. With the removal of subsidy from PMS, I don't think anybody's salary here, his monthly allowance, pension allowance, can fill his tank. I'm telling you this. Yes. Nobody standing behind me here earns what can really fill his tank. In fact, most of them trekked to this place. I'm telling you the truth. A lot of people trekked to this place today.
While those of One of the pensioners, Chike Ogbeche, said while the country's inflationary rate continues to soar, the value of their pension allowance keeps dropping, excluding the beneficiaries of the old pension scheme.
And what that means is that as inflation goes over the years, the value of our pension will be going down to zero, increasingly, while those of our counterparts who retired in the old scheme keep being reviewed. And the authors of the Constitution were reasonable to have inserted that matter of review, upward review of pension with time in the Constitution.
Another retiree, Lawrence Olufemi Obishakin, said the current pension scheme is very poor, as he stressed that some of the senior citizens have been forced to venture into activities that are not honorable. He advised Nigeria's government to devise ways of employing the pensioners, as most of them are still employable.
As at now, the pension scheme is very poor, I must tell you. And this has been pushing people to do many things, pushing old people to go and be working. But the government can make do well. If we want to increase our productivity, we have to make use of all our workforce. Our retirees are still strong. People are living healthier. They can still lecture, they can teach our PhDs. I could do many things. It's possible. But I think there should be those who are taking care, the senior citizens. I think there's an agency for that takes care of senior citizens. They can put them in places to still work and then help them. But there's a need to improve the pensions of Nigerians. It is very, very poor. You can tell you, the civil servant. The pension of civil servants is very poor, and something must be done for them, especially those who retired under the contributory pension scheme.
Nigeria's contributory pension scheme is an arrangement where both the employer and employee contribute certain percentages of the employee's monthly emoluments to build a retirement fund from which benefits are paid at retirement. The pension scheme was established in June 2004 by the Pension Reform Act (PRA 2004), which was repealed and reenacted in July 2014. In Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Abiodun Mohammed, Top Accolade News.